绵绵而落的细雨浸湿了瑞士第一大城市苏黎世。当人们脚步匆忙，纷纷避雨时，有一群人正向苏黎世湖出发。无论四季更迭，天气变换，考古人员都会冒着酷热或寒冷潜入湖底，寻找千年文明的遗迹。
On first sight, you already can recognize that it's not normal scuba gear. And because we're working in shallow water areas from about 2 meters, we have a system which allows us to work on a constant weight.
如今的苏黎世湖碧水清波，风景秀丽，是著名的旅游胜地。而在数千年前，瑞士的这片土地上，木桩建筑星罗棋布，那时的居民靠打鱼和耕作为生。
Pile dwellings are villages, houses from the Stone Age and the Bronze Age. We mainly have around 1,000 sites in Central Europe, dating from 4,300 BC to 800 BC. In 2011, the pile dwellings of Central Europe became UNESCO World Heritage. These sites are the only possibility to learn something about the history, because we don't have any written texts about these times.
早在1854年，干旱的天气导致苏黎世湖水位下降，人们第一次发现了木桩建筑定居点的遗迹。1960年代，苏黎世成立水下考古部门，一个个未解之谜陆续浮出水面。湖水和淤泥为保存这些大规模史前遗迹创造了绝佳条件。为挖掘被沉积层覆盖的文物，考古人员必须负重20到23公斤，才能沉入湖底展开水下挖掘工作。
We had an excavation where we had to dig deep up to half a meter. Then we had about 1 week per diver per square meter, because it was so rich of finds. A lot of organic finds which you have to handle with extreme care, and this needs time.
然而，气候变暖令蟹类和贻贝快速生长，湿地逐渐干涸，加上人类文明的发展，让遗址面临侵蚀危险。为避免脆弱的考古层被破坏，考古人员在对遗址表面完成考察和资料存档后，便会采取保护措施。
When modern civilization comes and uncovers this protecting sediment, maybe by influences of pipelines, of construction projects, anchoring boats, and so on, oxygen from the water will come in the organic materials and will start to decay them. We put on a textile and then a layer of gravel, and this protects it for the next generations.
考古队员每一次的下潜，木桩遗址中的每一个发现，都为我们打开一扇窥探过去的窗户，唤醒沉睡的历史和记忆。
This is a small one. I just cut now in the water. Those are posts with a pointy end, which were smashed into the ground, and then people built their houses with. And the other thing is, I took a core sample from the underground, pushing it into the ground, drill it once, and then pull it out. There we have a little bit of clay in it, which could be from buildings.
木桩脱离湖水之后，所处的环境发生变化。考古人员必须将采集到的样本浸泡在水中，立刻送回研究室进行保湿存放。
We have around 50,000 samples in here. There is a lot of information about the environment, about climate, and so on. So what we do, we take this wood. It has to be wet, because when it dries out, it decays within a few days. So we take these wood samples, and we then would seal it, we vacuumize it, and then it looks like this, and then hopefully we can preserve it for the next decades.
考古学家最核心的一个问题是如何做年代判定。他们借助科技的力量，用树木样本的年轮来估算时代，构筑出欧洲文明发展的历史轨迹。
Tree rings can be used to date the piece of wood exactly to the year. In fact, even several months' precision. We move the sample past a camera, and then this machine starts taking high-resolution images and stitches them together. So later on, we can do the measurements on screen by measuring the distances between the tree ring borders.
除了建筑木桩，考古人员也找到了其他生活遗迹，包括动物骨骼和日常器具，重现早期农耕社会的田园景象。
Here we have a sickle that has been used for harvesting the crop. This is an original one that dates around 1000 BC. That's a replica of such a sickle. It's a very ergonomic handle that has been used 3,000 years ago. So you must imagine that those people, they were farmers and they had to harvest, and that was quite an effort to do so because they didn't have machines.
宝贵的生活史料深深埋藏水底，历经千秋几乎完好无损。水下考古将长眠湖底的历史信息唤醒，拼接出一段段过往岁月的风华。跨越1000年的古老文明，仍有许多精彩和秘密等待人们去揭开、去保护。这不仅是与过去对话，也是替未来的我们留下更多存在的印记。